A Legacy, the first in a classical series of men's devotionals, depicts characters of men from the Bible who represent men of today. Some succeeded while others failed. There are those who were strong yet some were weak. There is the spiritual and carnal. Kings, rulers, princes, and patriarchs, all of whom men can identify with. They all left a legacy, whether it was positive or negative. What is your legacy? Lessons from the father and son duo of how to have complete dependence on God is today's devotion. Though Abraham's faith in God is to be commended, there were times he exhibited weaknesses that caused him problems. God had allowed small tests of faith to teach Abraham dependence on him. These lessons would also be coaching for Isaac, who seemed to experience a very similar pattern to his father. Both Abraham and Isaac were victims of famine. They both left their homeland to escape hunger. Abraham lied to the Egyptian Pharaoh that Sarah was his sister when she was his wife. Isaac also told the Philistine king that Rebekah was his sister. Both relied on their own efforts for survival, and instead of having faith that God would take care of the situations endangering their lives. God delivered them both from execution because of their faithless actions. Similarly, Abraham and Isaac's wives had problems conceiving children. They both lived on God's promises. The problems both men experienced were in preparation for teaching God's chosen people that God is consistent with his blessings. He is tolerant of man's failures, his forgiveness is perpetual, and his love everlasting. God was introducing himself in small doses to Abraham and Isaac, preparing them and their seed for a unique relationship with him. God is still preparing men to have a unique relationship with him. The problems you go through in life are not for your hurt and suffering, they are to help you understand that God can take care of anything, regardless of how large or small it is. Abraham and Isaac took it for granted that their problems were too small to take to God. The evidence is that God had his eyes on Abraham and Isaac and all of his children's problems. God is not too big to take care of your small problems, and he is never too small for the biggest of your problems. The relationship between Abraham and Isaac should be an example to every father and son. Both men realized that the future of their offspring relied on their relationship with him. Your children's future depends on it. If your relationship with God is not what it should be, you can begin to have a meaningful one with him today. Father and son made the same mistakes but were faithful to God to their deaths. Isaac learned from his father and Abraham from God. You might have made the same mistakes your father made, or your children may have been influenced by your failures. Remaining faithful to God is the only solution for you and your children. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16 verse 10.